First of our M Sport runners then, Martin Sesks, Renars Francis. We saw Renars' stretching ability a little bit earlier on, trying to wipe the windscreen clean with his leg. I've never seen that before. It's frustrating as well for Martins, because I think at times he really started to find something of a good rhythm to attack these special stages. And only his second running here, Chelly.
Yeah, and you know, he was certainly best of the M Sport crew, wasn't he? I think on pace, it's fair to say. Unfortunately, as you said, he had that windscreen issue yesterday, and when you get moisture inside the car and it's raining outside and it's hot inside the car, the result is condensation, and it just misted up the entirety of the inside of the windscreen to stop, and lost a couple of minutes in the stage, didn't they? And for that reason, and that reason only, they're now running as last of the M Sport crews. But it's still doable. Martins was quicker, consistently quicker than Gregoire Munster yesterday, and he's now trying to chase Gregoire down. Yeah, just, what is it, 10.8 seconds, you're right. That's a nice target for Martins to have today. Nice that we've got some beautiful sunshine, as you saw in the pictures a little bit earlier on. We did have a bit of everything, certainly from Friday afternoon all the way through yesterday. I mean, it literally changed from stage to stage. It's it really has been an incredible challenge, but I think it's nice that we've got clean, good conditions. Not that Oyt Tanak will appreciate it. He's going to suffer, isn't he, as the first man in, as ever. Oh, this is the famous, one of the famous jumps there. Look at those top speeds in your telemetry. Often in the late 180s, it may get higher than that as well. Here comes that virtual chicane. Get the car slowed down, and you've got to do it within the 2 points. You can see now you're exiting the virtual chicane at a point within that space. You've got to drop the speed, and then you can get going again.
You're a fan of the virtual chicane? I mean, obviously we have the hay bale version can cause it. I can see why we're experimenting with it over the last couple of years. The hay bale version can cause some issues sometimes.
Yeah, look, it's from a safety perspective, I think it's a good thing, isn't it, at the end of the day, and potentially also from a competition side, because when the drivers get it wrong and nudge the bales, it's then down to the marshals to try and put them back, which obviously that brings the safety of it all, you know, the marshals on the stage, but also from a competitive point of view, if the bales have moved and chicane has been opened up, the people who are coming behind can then go quicker through it, so it becomes unfair. There's no question this is a fair way of doing it, but do I like seeing rally cars going into a chicane and taking a chicane? Yes, I prefer that. So 50-50.
Now there's a real one.
There you go. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, isn't it, for Tanak? Such frustration. Came in as the championship leader. First time he led the championship, actually, since Sweden 2023. Look at this. This is why we love Von Limpoya. Yeah, so he came in with that championship lead, suffered as the first car on the road, sometimes with road sweeping. In the afternoon, it rained on Friday. Then he was suffering with hitting the worst of the puddles. It was one thing after another. Then he had a moment, hit a tree, and then in his frustration, there was this unfortunate incident with a scrutineer where he was given a 5-minute penalty. I mean, it was just one thing after another for Oyt. You've got to feel for him. But he's still very much in there in the championship fight. So crucial he can get something, anything out of today. And already the early splits look good for the Estonian. It's certainly against the M Sport guys at the 9-kilometre split. Tanak, although he's first on the road, Sesks 7 seconds already slower than the driving angry Estonian.
Yeah, Oyt's going to be throwing everything at it, but you're quite right. The road position is definitely against him, and because it's bone dry out there, PK, it is going to clean significantly. The grip levels are going to come up. Oyt's going to have a really big job on his hands if he's going to outpace those coming later on, and I think realistically is probably not doable. But this is, remember, Oyt Tanak we're talking about, and the stage will certainly be cleaner. The second run through on the Wolf Power stage, it'll be messy in places, but because the corners are quite fast and flowing, the cleaning effect on the second run through at least is reduced somewhat. So I think Oyt will probably struggle a bit in this run through, but perhaps will be a little bit more competitive on the Wolf Power stage later on.
Yep, talking to Greg Munster, actually, might be quite enjoying the fact that he's got 2 cars ahead of him. It'd be interesting to hear his comments at the end of the stage. He's got some pretty talented guys ahead of him with some interesting lines to follow. And Tanak, yeah, he's got to do what he can today.
Not far to go now.
Of course, as well, we are Super Sunday today, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen. So with just the 2 stages, it's almost like back-to-back Wolf Power stages. If you're quickest in the first run through here, you've got a very good chance of being quickest in the second one. So 10 points in total on offer. Here we go, Kakaristo jump. There we go, yeah.
Punished. I'm sure he's going to say it.
10:28.2.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to, excuse me, match the likes of Evans, Ogier, Rov and Pera certainly coming later on.
And
he's not got the road position.
And his 2 teammates, of course, will be also, you know, certainly for Thierry, absolutely desperate to get anything he can. Quite sad to hear Thierry almost conceding defeat, wasn't he? One of his comments at the end of the stage yesterday in terms of his championship defence. Let's hear from Oit then, see what those conditions are like.
Morning, Oit. First pass of Onimpoyo. Take us through what it was like.
It's a fast stage, yeah, super fast, very intense same time, but it's just all the way through is this small bearing on top, you know, and it's yeah, quite a big track, but anyhow, we had okay stage.
Yeah, he'll do what he can, but yeah, as he said, almost that ball bearing effect. It is quite a strange sensation when you drive on these sort of gravel. It feels like you're sort of floating across the top, doesn't it? Especially when it's loose for the early runners.
Yeah, it's a good way of describing it. You're sat on that layer of gravel and the car's just sliding around on the top of it, skating around on top of it. And once that's cleared out of the way, then you get down to the good, solid base underneath. That's where the grip is. So it normally takes 3 or 4. Martin's a little bit offline there. It normally takes 3 or 4 cars to come through to start to cut through that gravel.
Yeah, you mentioned that fight between the 2 M Sport teammates, Chenny. A couple of stats there about the heritage of this wonderful event. Back to 1951, 75th anniversary next year. Yeah, in terms of this M Sport battle, Sesks at the 12.7 kilometre split time. He's 5.3 seconds actually quicker than Greg Munster. That's half of the deficit already taken, so he is on track to take 9th place from his teammates in here.
Pace notes so important in this stage, PK, because you're going from one corner to another corner with jumps in between. The car has to be set up exactly right, certainly for the jumps, and a lot of the time you're jumping into a corner as well, so you've just got to make sure that you're absolutely on the money with your pace notes. You understand exactly where you're positioning the car.
It's the Latvians' turn to get to this sea of fans down at Kakaristo. Just look at that. It's a wonderful view, isn't it, from the heli. So this version of it, we're right near the end now. You know, once you got round that tight right-hander, the flying finish is not a million miles away. Good aggressive run from Martin Sesks. He's not getting anywhere near Tanak. You'd expect that 14.7 seconds. But be interested to hear his thoughts if there's already any sort of line, and if he was able to match Tanak's efforts in terms of the aggressive lines the Estonian was taking, I'm sure.